Assalamualaikum friends. This is Amy Mac, the channel Life in Australia for you. Today I'm going to discuss the Australian Immigration Citizenship Test, and basically there are new changes effective from 15th November 2020. In addition, I'll discuss the questions which are on the Australian Immigration website, and also some questions I've created from the practice reading material, which is the our Common Bond PDF document. And this is the part 1 of the video. So we'll start. So first, a brief overview. So the updated test includes the revised citizenship test and new test questions on Australian values. It's available in 40 community languages, the Common Bond, but the test will be conducted in English only. So this is the major change at all 5 questions on Australian values, which is the part 4 of the Common Bond PDF document. They must be answered correctly, and you should obtain at least 75% overall to pass the test. So the citizenship test goal is just to show that you have basic knowledge of English, understanding of being an Australian citizen, knowledge of Australia, responsibility and privileges of citizenship, and understanding of Australian values. There is a Common Bond document PDF available on the Australian Immigration website, and it contains the testable section and non-testable section. I will cover both. Testable and non-testable section, you don't have to, you will not be tested on that, but it's good to know the Australian history and all that. And the testable section contains the part 1, part 2 and part 3, which is Australia's and its people, Australia's democratic beliefs in government and laws in Australia. So first I'll go through the sample test questions which are available on the website. So the question 1 is, what do we commemorate on Anzac Day? Is it A, landing of Australian and New Zealand Army at Gallipoli, Turkey during World War I, the arrival of first 3 settlers from Great Britain, or the landing of the first fleet at Sydney Cove? So the answer is A, the landing of Australian and New Zealand Army Corps at Gallipoli, Turkey during World War I. Question 2 is, what are the colors of Australian Aboriginal flag? Is it A, black, red and yellow, B, green, white and black, or C, blue, white and green? So the answer is A, black, red and yellow. Question 3 is, what is the Commonwealth coat of arms? Is it national anthem, Australia's national flower, or the official symbol of Australia which identifies Commonwealth property? So the answer is C, official symbol of Australia which identifies Commonwealth property. Question 4 is, what happened in Australia on 1st January 1901? The Australian Constitution was changed, separate colonies were united into federation states, or is it C, Australian and New Zealand Army Corps was formed? So answer is B, separate colonies were united into federation states called the Commonwealth of Australia. Question 5 is, what is the capital of Australia? Is it Brisbane, Canberra or Perth? So the answer is Canberra. Question 6, which of these is an example of freedom of speech? Is it A, people can peacefully protest against a government action, B, men and women are treated equally in a court of law, or is it C, Australians are free to not follow our religion? So the answer is A, people can peacefully protest against a government action. Question 7 is, which of these statements about government in Australia is correct? The government does not allow some religions, the government of Australia is secular, or is it C, religious laws are passed by Parliament? The answer is B, the government in Australia is secular. Question 8 is, which of these is an example of equality in Australia? A, everyone follows the same religion, B, men and women have equal rights, and C, everyone belongs to the same political party. So the answer is B, men and women have equal rights. Question 9 is, which of these is responsibility of Australian citizens aged 18 years or over? To attend local council meetings, to vote in federal and state territorial elections, or to have a current Australian passport? So the answer is B, to vote in the federal and territorial elections and in a referendum. Question 10 is, which of these statements about passports is correct? Australian citizens can apply for Australian passport, PRs can hold an Australian passport. Australian citizens need a passport and visa to return to Australia. So the answer is A. Australian citizens can apply for an Australian passport. Question 11 is, which of these statements about voting in Australian election is correct? People are free and safe to vote for any candidate. Voting is by a show of hands. People must write their name on their vote. So the answer is A. People are free and safe to vote for any candidate. Question 12. What is the name of legal document that sets out the basic rules for the Government of Australia? Australian Federation, Australian Commonwealth, Australian Constitution. So the answer is C. Australian Constitution. Question 13 is, what is a referendum? Is it a vote to change the government, a vote to change Australian Constitution, or is it a vote to change the Prime Minister? So the answer is B. A vote to change the Australian Constitution. Question 14 is, which arm of government has the power to interpret and apply laws? Legislative, executive, or judicial? So the answer is C. Judicial. Question 15 is, which of these is a role of the Governor General? The appointment of state premiers, signing all bills passed by the Australian Parliament into law, or C. The appointment of the head of state? So the answer is B. Signing all bills passed by the Australian Parliament into law. Question 16 is, which of these statements best demonstrate Australian values about freedom of expression? Everyone can peacefully express their opinions within the law. People with different views from me need to keep quiet. Or is it C. Only approved topics can be discussed? The answer is A. Everyone can peacefully express their opinions within the law. Question 17 is, should people in Australia make an effort to learn English? So A. People in Australia should speak whichever language is most commonly spoken in their local neighborhood. B. There is no expectation to learn any language. C. Yes, English is the national language and it helps to get education, job, and to get integrated into community. So yes, it's C. You have to learn English to get integrated into the community. Question 18 is, in Australia, can you encourage violence against a person or a group of people if you have been insulted? So the answer is B. No, it is against Australian values in the law. Question 19 is, should people tolerate one another where they find that they disagree? So options are A. It is against the law to disagree with one another. B. No, people only need to treat with each other with respect if they agree with one another. Or is it C? Yes, peaceful disagreement reflects Australian values. So the answer is C. Yes, peaceful disagreement reflects Australian values in relation to mutual respect. Question 20, last question. Which of the following is an example of contributing to Australian community? So is it volunteering or fundraising for a charity is a great opportunity? B. I should not make any effort to get know other people. Or is it C. People in Australia should not contribute to community because Australia is a free country? So answer is A. Volunteering or fundraising for a charity is a great opportunity to strengthen our community. So after the test questions, I'll just discuss our common bond PDF, part 1. So the document is part 1, Australia and its people. So I have just made a few key points after going through the document. So some key points you need to know are that about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people. So they were actually the first inhabitants of Australia, and historically Aboriginal peoples are from mainland Australia and Tasmania. Torres Island people are from islands between the northern tip of Queensland and the Papua New Guinea. So actually the archaeological record indicates the Aboriginal peoples arrived in Australia between 65,000 and 40,000 years ago. So they term themselves as the original inhabitants of the land. Some more key points. Early days of European settlement. So European settlement started with when first 11 convict ships which became known as the first fleet arrived from Great Britain, and it happened on 26th January 1788. Important date to remember. As British jails could not hold a large number of people, they decided to transport convicts to a new colony of the New South Wales. The first governor of the colony of New South Wales was Captain Arthur Phillip. Early free settlers were mainly from the Great Britain and Ireland. In 1851, there was a gold rush, and then there was gold discovered in the colonies of New South Wales and Victoria. So at this time, Chinese people were the most among the immigrants which were coming to Australia, and not and there were very few people who were coming from Europe. So key point for the nation of Australia: in 1901, separate colonies were united into federation states called the Commonwealth of Australia. In 1901, Australians' population was about 4 million, excluding Aboriginals and the Islanders. Also, after a referendum in 1967, they were including the official estimates. After World War II, so people from other parts of Europe also started to come, and the national language of Australia is English, and learning English is very important to integrate in the society. A very important facts to remember that Australia actually have 6 states and 2 mainland territories. So states and their capital cities, you can see New South Wales capital city is Sydney, Victoria is Melbourne, Queensland is Brisbane, Western Australia is Perth, South Australia Adelaide, Tasmania is Hobart, and territories: Australian Capital Territory capital city is Canberra, which is also the capital city of Australia. Northern Territory, NT, the capital city is Darwin. Key points about the state: NSW, so it was the first colony established by the British. Sydney Harbour Bridge and Opera House are the national icons. Victoria is the smallest of the mainland states, and so in terms of the overall area covered. So main icons include MCG, Melbourne Cricket Ground, 12 Apostles and Royal Exhibition Building. Queensland is the second largest state. So Torres Strait Island is situated north of the state. Great Barrier Reef is the main icon of Queensland. Western Australia is the largest state. East of the state is desert, whereas the southwest is rich agriculture and it is home to large mining projects. Some of the icons include Ningaloo Coast, Margaret River and the Kimberley region. South Australia, it has home to many wine regions and the fine colonial architectures. Icons include Barossa Valley and the Flinders Range. Tasmania is the smallest state, separated from the mainland. Main icons include Cradle Mountain, Port Arthur and the Bay of Fires. Australian Capital Territory, it's located between Sydney and Melbourne. Has several national institutions located in Canberra like Parliament House and the High Court of Australia. Northern Territory, tropical environment in the north of the state and dry wet desert in the south. So main island icons include Uluru and Kings Canyon. Okay, so some questions I have created after going through the reading material. Hope it will benefit you as well. So who are the first inhabitants of Australia? Is it the Red Indians, European settlers, or the Aboriginals, or the Torres Strait Islander? So yes, answer is C, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander. Question 2 is when did first fleet of 11 convicts arrive from Great Britain? Is it 10 Jan 1688, 26 Jan 1788 or 20 Jan 1898? The answer is B, 26 Jan 1788. Question 3 is who was the first governor of colony of New South Wales? Was it Ned Kelly, Norman Lindsay or Arthur Phillip? So the answer is C, Arthur Phillip. So just a question about icons. So column A contains different states and column B contains the main icon. So you have to just match the items. So I'll on the next page I'll give you, the correct order is NSW, Opera House, Victoria, 12 Apostles, Queensland, Great Barrier Reef, Western Australia, Ningaloo Coast, South Australia, Barossa Valley, Tasmania, Cradle Mountain, ACT, Parliament House, and Uluru. So this is the map of Australia, which you should be familiar with, like what are the different states and where it is located. So you can see the Western Australia, Northern Territories, South Australia, Queensland, NSW, Australian Capital Territory, Victoria, and Tasmania. So you should know about the capital cities of the states. For example, if there's confusion, let's say Queensland, there's Queen's Victoria building, very popular here in different states, which have a lot of retail shops. So from that you can say, okay, Queensland is Brisbane. So you can have a mnemonic QVB or QB, Queen's Victoria building. So just remember that Queensland capital is Brisbane. Western Australia, you can see Western Australia, Perth. So wireless application protocol, it's a protocol to access information over the mobile networks. So it's again the mnemonic you can use to remember. South Australia is Adelaide. And so hopefully this video was helpful to you. Do let me know in comments. I'll be working on more videos covering the other parts as well, and hopefully it will prepare you well to get through the Australian citizenship test and to know overall general information about Australia as well. So do keep watching and see you in next video. Allah Hafiz. Thank you.